Hey everybody, and welcome to a new video where we're talking about the volume profile, and specifically we're talking about value area. Now in this video, I'm going to be going through 5 things that you need to know about value area. Let's go ahead and just jump right in. Okay, so as we're getting started, if you're watching this and you're not exactly sure about value area or any other parts of the profile, you can reference this quick video where I'll break down the individual parts of the profile just so you can be up to speed. Now for everybody else that is familiar with value, let's get started jumping right in with number 1, not in order of importance, but number 1, and the first thing to know about value area is that value area is not valid if the market is being directional or if we are trending. So let's jump into the charts and I'll show you an example of what I mean by this, because this is very important to understand. Looking at this session we have right in front of us, you can see that price, we opened up, we dropped down, we came up, we moved back down, pushed higher, and then ended the day with a strong push. Really, the majority of this session we spent in about the same range, and then the last hour or so we pushed further out of it. Now, if you're familiar with the video that I've done on intraday structures, you should be able to identify what structure this is. If you're not sure about that, I'll link a video where you can check out the 7 intraday structures of volume profiling, and you can catch up to speed there as well. But when we have a day like this shape up, there's a few things, especially about value, that are going to be very important to me. I want to know coming into the next session where exactly we're opening up in relation to that value, how we treat that value area. These things are huge pieces of information that we need to be aware of. Now let's look at what happens in the following session. We open up slightly outside of that previous value area. This is important to know. And then after spending a little bit of time trying to get back in, we base outside of value and then just continue to push up. And we continue the action that was left behind in the previous session. We continued that push, ending the day near the highs. Now, if we would have opened up and instead of testing, holding outside of value, if we would have started accepting that previous value area, a return to this point of control and even the other side of value would have been very likely. But because we held outside of it, this really set up nicely for the move higher to continue the yesterday's push. So when value has been established, there's information in there that we can use, and it's important to understand. But seeing what's happened on this next session, price opening up, virtually the entire session we did nothing but trend higher, just one time framed up almost the entire day. So in this situation, there is no value because we were in price discovery mode and value has not been found. So the profile is always going to show us where 70% of the volume traded. But just because it's outlining a value area does not mean that it's valid. And so when I come in, and this is the session that we've had before, I'm not putting weight on where that value area high or where that value area low is. I'm not looking for setups based on this because to me, this value area is not valid. And it's important to understand this. If you're learning about volume profiling, and you would even hear this from me, there's specific trade ideas and even setups that happen based on the value area of the current day that happened on the value area of the previous day. But if you were trying to take that information and fit it into a day like this where the value area is not valid, or if you're trying to put it into a previous value area like this when it's not valid, you're going to be setting yourself up for a lot of trading frustrations. It's an important distinction to make that when the market is trending, when we're being directional, the value area is not valid. Okay, another tip to understand about value area is that it can shift and sometimes very drastically with the point of control. Jumping back into the screens, we're looking at a profile here that's fairly elongated. Price has just been moving up for the majority of this session. The point of control is shifted near those highs. And just for reference, I have marked off where the value area high and low is. And when I say that the value area shifts, a lot of times it shifts drastically with the point of control. It's very nice to be able to pick up on if there is a developing point of control. And you can understand that value area is likely to be shifting, and sometimes this can happen very drastically. So let's just follow the rest of this as it plays out. And you can see how the value area is changing, but it really starts changing once we have a point of control that's developing, okay? This will happen fairly quickly. We have this very fast speed going on here. But you can see this point of control this developing point of control has been built out extremely fast. And as that is growing, as that is building out, and eventually as the point of control shifts down to there, you can see that we've changed. The value area high has dropped down a good 3-4 points or so. It's gone up a good 3-4 points or so. And this is a nice thing to pick up on because there's been several times where I've entered a trade specifically because we're at value area low. And then I haven't been paying attention to the fact that there's a developing point of control. And then as I'm in that trade, thinking I'm entered at value area low, we move up a very short amount of time, and then the point of control shifts, and then the value area shifts dramatically as well. Then all of a sudden, I'm no longer in at value area low, now I'm in kind of in the middle of nowhere. So if you can pay attention and just be aware of point of control shift that might be coming, you can be aware that the value area is likely to be shifting as well. And sometimes it can really shift, but it usually happens with that point of control. All right, the third tip about value area is do not put much importance on the value area during the first 30 minutes to the first hour of the day. As soon as the session starts and the value area is beginning to develop, it's very fresh and the information can change very quickly. And so what you're seeing as the point of control, what you're seeing as value area high or low, that information can just shift like nothing because there's not much volume that's happened yet. Once we get later on in the day, the value area, the point of control, these levels become much more significant. So if you're trading, especially the early part of the session and you're looking at a daily profile, don't put much weight on what you're seeing there as that's fresh and as that's being developed. Once we get past the first hour, especially once we get past the whole first session and we get later into the day, all of that information becomes a lot more important and it becomes a lot more solid. All right, the fourth excellent tip that I have for you on the value area is that tracking and observing value is so much superior to observing price. Struggling traders, there's a few kind of keystones habits that they do. One of them is going to be obsessing about price and just putting all of their focus on every move that's happened. But when you can zoom out and if you can start to look at the value and value area specifically, the game really changes because it changes your perspective on what's happening and you can really see the story that's being developed. When you can look back and understand even daily where that value area is shifting to, and as you can look back over the last several days and understand value area is shifting up every day, value area has been shifting down, the value area is somewhat holding in this same exact spot day to day to day. This information can really help you paint the picture and help you not feel lost when you're just zoomed in on price and every little move up or down that's happening being confused by it. Obsessing about, or I would just say focusing on the value area is far superior to just focusing in on price movement. Okay, and to wrap up this video, let's cover point number 5 about value area. Entering a trade and exiting a trade for a loss inside of value is a very bad idea. So let's jump back into the charts. Let me show you an example. I've recently done a trade breakdown video where I walked through this exact trade. I'm not exactly sure when it gets dropped compared to this video, but if it's already out, I'll link that as well so you can go check it out. And if it isn't out yet, then be watching because it's coming. But in this video right here, we've established value for the day. It's a very balanced session. And I faded one of these extremes, entering in at the value area low with shorts, looking to take this back down into value. Front ran VWAP, took the rest off at the point of control, is how this trade was managed. Now, the thing to point out about this is as we get to these extremes and even outside of value, these are valid places to enter. But if you were to enter, let's say, a long position up here, and to take that off for a loss while we're still inside of value, it's just a bad idea. As you can see how this balanced day played out, we came just, several different times, just went coast to coast to coast. And that value area really paints a good picture of where you should be avoiding. Anything here in the middle for entry, anything that's not at one of those extremes, you're setting yourself up to just get chopped out. And a lot of times, especially for people who aren't using the profile. They might not be able to identify that the day is just being very balanced and they're putting on trades and taking them off in what is just the value area. It's not a good idea. Early in the day, before the value has really been established, I'm frequently buying and selling inside of what would be value area. We've already talked about don't put too much weight on that during the first part of the day, but this is happening very late in the day towards the end of the session. That value area is very well established. And to put on trades and to take them off for losses, all of that action happening inside of value, it's a very bad idea. If you can start tracking value, specifically when that value area is valid, this doesn't hold on trend days, but when that value area has been established, we're later in the day, so we know that it's important. If you can put yourself in a position where you're just not entering trades in the middle of value and taking them off inside of value, you can eliminate a lot of very ridiculous trades, a lot of trades that you just never should be in. And the value area helps us understand this. Buying and selling inside of value, taking a trade on, taking it off for a loss, all of that happening inside of value, it's a very bad idea. Okay, everybody, that's it. I'm going to wrap up this video for 5 things that you need to know about the value area. I hope that you found this video informative. I hope that it was helpful. If you want to know more about the volume profile, there's a ton of other videos on the channel that you can go check out. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel for any reason, at the time of this recording, we're just about to 10,000 subscribers. So go ahead, support the channel, hit that subscribe button, help us get over that hump. We've heard that the first 10,000 are the hard ones. The next 90,000 are going to come real easy. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this one up. We'll hit the like button on the way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.